Welcome to Reread. I am on Tales from Jabba's Palace. We're going to go over 5 of the stories here. I think we're going to do these 5 at a time. The first one was written by Kevin J. Anderson called A Boy and His Monster. Basically, Malakili is the big guy, the big butcher guy who once Luke Skywalker kills the Rancor, you see him crying at the end like it talks about him, how he got a job. He worked for Circus Horrific or Horrendous or whatever, the Beast and Dangerous Beast and whatnot. He was a beast keeper, and he was the longest tenant. I think he lasted 7 years, which is a record. So Jabba hires him. He doesn't know if he wants to work for Jabba, but when he sees the Rancor, he's like, oh, I'm in love. I've always wanted to, be around a Rancor. So he gets to be friends with the Rancor. Jabba is testing the Rancor to see how strong it is, and Malakili is so happy that the Rancor keeps winning. He thinks Jabba's proud of him too, but eventually realizes, oh no, Jabba's just trying to find someone who can beat him. Jabba doesn't care about him. He's just entertainment for Jabba. So he kind of resents Jabba for that, goes to Lady Valarin, who is the whipped, she sort of partners with Jabba a little bit, but she is his arch nemesis. And so he says, hey, make me a deal and I'll give you all the secrets to Jabba's palace that I know. She's like, well, I already have spies. Why would I need that? And then he says, well, I want you to, sneak away with me and the Rancor. She went, wait, take his pet Rancor, because everyone's jealous that, Jabba loves that pet Rancor for entertainment. She went, I'll do it for that, So she's going to bring a cage by where he can load up the Rancor. But unfortunately, the morning of is the morning where Luke Skywalker and friends come and basically ruin all of his plans. Luke kills the Rancor the night before, leaving him desolate. And the only sad thing I hate about this is the person that hugs him, that consoles him, Malakili knows he's seen him around the palace, but doesn't really know who he is. Then why would he care for Malakili? I wish they would have made them buddies and would have given him a name too. But either way, small complain about that story. The rest of it is excellent. The next one is called Taster's Choice. This is by Barbara Hamley. This is on Porcelain. I don't think we ever see him, but he is Jabba's cook. He's accused of poisoning. He thinks he's accused of poisoning Jabba's meal, and so he may be fed to the Rancor, and so he does not want that to happen, and so he's all scared about this because I think the word is firefic. I didn't write it down here, but it turns out that firefic, whatever the word was, means bad luck. His food is bad luck. Whoever he feeds dies. And so Jabba says his food is bad luck, not bad poison or whatnot. And he is, of course, sentenced to die. But don't worry, Luke and his friends are going to kill Jabba, and I guess he's getting off the hook. If he's brought back into the story at this point, I don't know, because I haven't read all the stories right now. The next one is called That's Entertainment. This is on Salacious Crumb. This one I kind of have a little bit of problem with. A Professor Melvis Bloor gets tricked by Crumb. He thinks he's talking to an intellectual, but Crumb is just repeating everything he says, kind of like a parrot, and it's kind of dumb. And of course the professor starts thinking, man, this young man is quite off his rocker. It's a monkey lizard. Have you never seen one before? Did you really think it was a person? Because he's just kind of repeating what he's saying, and he's like, oh yes, good show, sir. You want me to keep talking? Yes, keep talking. He's like, oh, I like you. You said to keep talking. Is he that dumb? I mean, Jabba makes a comment at the end, because basically he's leading him to his death. Because the last professor that tried to get an autobiography of Jabba was killed, because Jabba feels like, autobiography? You mean give all my secrets away? So the same professor a different professor comes with the same request, and he's going to die too. He finds out the Salacious Crumb basically betrayed him, and Jabba makes a joke. Hey, Jabba says that this is the same joke as last time, Crumb. Remember, that's not funny. I like to see new jokes. Don't get me any more professors. They're too dim-witted. If they can be fooled by you. I'm like, yeah, I guess that professor is really, really dumb. I mean, does Salacious Crumb need a story? No, not really. It would have been nice to have him talk about when R2-D2 zapped him, but this takes place before Return of the Jedi. So it's kind of like a prequel to Return of the Jedi, because I don't think any of the events of Return of the Jedi are mentioned in this one. Either way, the next one is called A Time to Mourn and A Time to Dance. This one's on Oola. Oola the dancer, I believe it's her sister or friend Sin, and I remember this one pretty well. Luke encounters them right before they're going to go to Jabba's palace. They're offered all the riches that they're thinking elaborate riches and it's a paradise over there. And Luke says that is not the case. You girls need to leave. Sin decides to leave. Oola at first doesn't believe Luke, and I thought she was, prideful and wanted to go to Jabba anyway, but it seems like in this book that she wanted to escape too, but she sacrificed herself so that Cian she went back into captivity. She allowed herself to be captured so the other girl could get away. And of course, she dies, so that's kind of a bummer. And it's okay. But I do like one thing about the short story. She can only understand parts of Luke's speech. Like, she doesn't speak basic. So we're getting it from her side, so everything is English to us. But when she's talking to Luke, it's all broken sentences and words. She went, what's that word again? What's that key? Kill. Jabba will kill you. But she doesn't know the word kill in basic. So that was pretty interesting. That was pretty good. The next one is Let Us Pray, and pray is P-R-E-Y. Yes, love it. And this one is Jacquel. He's a Whippet too. He works for Lady Valarin. He is her lover. But when he gives her his last message, we don't know, he didn't know it was going to be his last message. When he gives his last message to Lady Valarin, because he's assembling a thermal detonator piece by piece in these food crates that come in. And there's something about this food boy, the assistant to the kitchen boy. He's dead. We don't know who killed him yet. We will find that out later. But there's a common theme. There's a storyline that's playing on each one of these short stories here. So I do like that. There's some big story, and we're all getting different perspectives of it. But Jacquel, when he makes his video message to Lady Valarin, he notices there's another Whippet in her room. And he's like, oh, it must be just a servant. It couldn't be a lover, right? That she's my lover. So he's thinking he's getting betrayed there. But anyway, he gets the thermal detonator. He plans to kill Jabba with the thermal detonator instead of with poison. And of course, we know what happens to Jabba in the end. So he doesn't get to kill Jabba at all. And I think I'll stop right there. That's 5. So far, the stories are fun. They're really short. They read like a chapter each. And yes, it is worth your time. But I'll talk about 5 more stories later.